Flow happens in 4 phases. The first phase is the emotional valence, and that's a positive or negative emotional valence that you experience as you scan the environment for stimuli. Then there's neural representations. Those are the robust thoughts and feelings you have when you're in a state of flow. Then there are the action patterns, your skills, and specific actions you take as a result of those enhanced neural representations. And then there's a feedback loop. And the feedback loop perturbs the stimuli that you're taking in, which then affects your emotional valence in a new way, and the cycle continues and continues. So this is how flow happens. This is where it starts to get really interesting now. I work with clients to map situation-specific protocols designed to put them into a state of flow. And for a protocol, there's this idea of a signature situation. And a signature situation gives rise to a cue, and that cue tells you which protocol to employ. So let's think about what is the signature situation for a conversation where emotions are running high, injustice might be involved, the kind of conversation that might make your blood boil. And so a perfect signature situation for that type of conversation is actually hostage negotiation. Are emotions running high? Yes. Is there potential injustice involved? Yes. Chris Voss, in his book Never Split the Difference, lays out a protocol called tactical empathy. Here it is. If emotions are involved, i.e. hostage negotiation, then step 1, don't get emotionally hijacked. And you can imagine when Chris Voss entered a negotiation situation, no matter what else was going on in his life, he would always follow step 1, don't get emotionally hijacked. Step 2, hold space and don't interrupt. Let whoever you're dealing with say everything they need to say, get everything off of their chest, listen carefully. Step 3 is about labeling. So start step 3 with "it seems like," and see if you can summarize their position with a 1 or 2 word label. If you do it right, the other person immediately says, "That's right." And as soon as they say "that's right," they have a little oxytocin hit in their brain, which brings them a little closer to you. It increases that level of trust. So this protocol is designed to increase that level of trust slightly before you even try to influence the other person with your position. Great protocol. I've been using it in my coaching, highly effective. It's one of the protocols I need for my personal development. So here's where it gets really, really interesting now is let's map this protocol to the flow loop. Here's the flow loop. And if you look at the cue, if high emotions are involved, so there you go, an automatic potential negative emotional valence. Now in this protocol, at this point, there's no thinking involved. At this point, there is an immediate action pattern, which is don't get emotionally hijacked. So notice the first run through the flow loop goes right from cue directly to action patterns. And that does 2 things. Number 1, it allows you to maintain the personal emotional valence you need to maintain. Secondly, it buys you a slight bit of time. And so after the feedback loop of cycle 1, let's call this, then comes step 2, which is a neural representation. Hold space, don't interrupt, take in what you need to take in. You've now perturbed the stream of stimuli coming at you, and now you can interpret, categorize, come up with ideas as you're listening to this stream of stimuli as the other person states their position. And you're holding space while simultaneously not getting emotionally hijacked. And then step 3, where you consolidate, sort, and organize all of the stimuli from step 2 when you were holding space. And now you summarize it all with a label. And the feedback you're going for is a confirmation from the other side that you got it right. There is success for the tactical empathy protocol. So you notice the cycle. That's how this particular protocol maps onto the flow loop. Let's look at a theoretical new protocol that I have to map, and it's called Focus on Breath. So here's the format, and I've mapped parts of it. First of all, we need the right cue for this particular protocol. I'm speculating that step 1 of this protocol is to just bring your awareness to the inhale, exhale, and then as you do that, you feel your own valence start to settle to neutral or even slightly positive. And then step 2, and this is again where the neural representations kick in, notice the pause between your inhales and your exhales, because that's where the opportunity lies. That's where the ideas can come. That's where the neural representation of peak performance lies. And then step 3, I need to figure out what the amplifying action is after you've made that positive shift that comes in step 2. And once you've made that shift, step 3 will help you clarify what the action you need to take to realize some form of goal. And the analogy for this one is really around step 2, which, in other words, it's like a rest in music. When you hear a rest in music, it's not just empty space. There's all kinds of potential in that rest. So there you have it. This is mapping protocols onto the flow loop.